decisions, great mound visits, great job not letting the best player beat you.
This one crushed, out to right field. And it's going to be out of here. Pennsylvania walk-off home run. Travis Gavonic sends him to Williamsport.
With the 37th pick of the 2023 MLB Draft, the Detroit Tigers select Kevin McGonigal, a shortstop from Monsignor Bonner High School, Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Bryce Harper. Suarez delivers. Swing and a drive. Left field. It's deep. It's gone. Yes! And it is gone!
Yes!
It is bedlam at the bank as Bryce Harper has put the Phillies on top.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, his 10th career home run in the postseason. And he may never hit a bigger one.
What is up, Delaware County, and welcome back to another episode of Delco Baseball Now. My name is Brendan Ricciardi. I am joined in studio for the first time in about 2 weeks by Ben Thorpe. Ben, what gave you the right to go to Penn State without me?
Absolutely nothing, but I wanted to. That was pretty much it.
College hockey in State College is a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, great time. They got killed, but still a very fun time. Student section was electric. Got to drink a little bit beforehand, Can't go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically Beaver Stadium just kind of like compacted into like 8,000 people. It's loud in there.
Yeah, it's like very similar vibes, I would say, to Beaver Stadium. Just, again, much, much, much smaller.
Well, if you're a college sports fan, then you are in the right place for today, because today is going to be the college baseball episode. I can only speak for myself here, but Ben, college baseball is the best time of my life, and I think you feel the same.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% agree. That's most fun I've had.
It's just like the ability to get as close as you can get to your teammates. Like, at least for me, like I was living with them too.
Yeah.
So, to be able to, kind of like go through life with them in those 4 years, you got way more games than you would in high school, more trips, more stuff like that. So, it's definitely something that we really appreciated, I think.
Yeah, it's a bunch of dudes that you spent pretty much 4 years nonstop with, going through like trying to figure out how to do the thing they love at the highest level they've ever been at, and it's a pretty cool. I don't know. It's just a really cool, like, unique experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to start off this show by kind of giving a quick little recap of how 2023 ended. This is the champion segment. So we're going to start off Division I college baseball. LSU won the College World Series. They went to Omaha and they took down Florida in the College World Series final. Very bizarre series. They won Game 1 4-3 in 11 innings. They lost Game 2 24-4, and then they won Game 3 18-4. And that was one of those games where I didn't care who won. I just wanted drama. We didn't get any drama there.
No, it was. I don't know. That kind of sucks. There was a series I was looking so much forward to watching, and then you got a good Game 1, and then it was just blowouts. And I don't know. No one wants a blowout in a championship game unless it's your team playing. But
just think about how many future MLB players were in that matchup, and that was the problem, because they were just too good offensively to keep things close. But the Omaha field, there was LSU, Florida, Wake Forest, Stanford, Texas, Virginia, which had Bryn Mawr native Justin Rubin on Virginia. TCU, Tennessee, and the Cinderella story, Oral Roberts. They kind of took over the world. They were like the team that everybody fell in love with. I think they ended up getting knocked out by TCU. I forget, but just the fact that they were there just shows baseball, I would say, along with basketball, have the most parity in terms of the 16th seed can beat the 1 seed anytime.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think baseball is a game really at that level. The top guys, while they're all maybe MLB guys, are still at the college level, aren't that much further ahead of an Oral Roberts or something like that. And if you go out and have a good day and they have a bad day, you got a shot.
Yeah, and it all comes down to pitchers, especially in the playoffs in college baseball. Any team can have a guy that's going to get drafted, and next thing you know, it's like Penn beating Auburn. When Ryan Dromboski went out there, he's a guy that has the ability to play the next level, and now he's out there against an Auburn team, and they're like, "This is Penn." It's like, hey, all it takes is a good pitcher to beat you. You know. But yeah, that was the I believe, 7th national championship for LSU. I'm not positive. I would argue that nobody has really, dominated the NIL and the transfer portal like they have.
Yeah.
They got, Tommy White had a huge year at NC State as a freshman, and like, to put it bluntly, like, they bought him, and that's okay to say because you can do it now.
Yeah, that's with the NIL stuff. I mean, it is what it is, but it is basically just free agency every year.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm bittersweet about it. I think that, it has its flaws, but it has its perks. Like, the fact that, athletes were never getting money was always stupid to begin with.
Yeah,
and everybody knew that. But it does start to feel like it's becoming a little bit more professional in the sense of, like, LSU's going to have the money every year. Their boosters will support it. Like, the brand they have is always going to attract the best talent. And I feel bad for, like, the low to mid-tier D1 coaches, because if you recruit and develop a superstar and he goes crazy, someone's just going to take him.
Yeah, and I mean, that's also why you see a lot of low to mid-tier teams using the transfer portal as much as they do now, because you're losing guys like that.
Yeah, and you get the best D2 players, and then the cycle continues. Speaking of D2, we had Angelo State won a national championship. They took down Rollins. I have on my notes here, Millersville was in it as the 1 seed. I think Mike Costello, former Upper Darby Blue Sox, was on the team, but like he was a freshman.
Yeah, he was a redshirt.
I don't think anyone else from Delco was. I know, shout out Tom Caulfield, Millersville shortstop, set the the program record. Sounds good. It still sounds cool as a shortstop.
Yeah.
And I think he ended up playing for like the Wild Things, but he went to Henderson. So he's a local guy. But it feels like every other year Millersville or Westchester is in it. Someone from the PSAC.
They were on the PSAC East.
Yeah. But Millersville was in it. They got knocked out by, I got Cal State University San Bernardino on here, but Angelo State won a title. Moving now to D3, we had a little more local representation. We had Lynchburg, Virginia took down Johns Hopkins. We had Isaiah Winokur from the Haverford School, and not technically Delco, but Jake Ciani's been in the Delco League long enough that he was on that team, playing the Interac at Penn Charter. 2 brothers playing professional baseball right now. You're the D3 guy here, so what do you got?
I mean, I think Hopkins has been one of the best. Even since when I was playing D3, they were always, top 10, like, regional. When they moved to a super regional World Series potential team, and they've never gotten over the hump. I thought this might have been the year, but again, like a really good Lynchburg team out of the ODAC, the ODAC's basically like close to like what you would imagine like the SEC is. Like there's
someone in the World Series
they
every
have
year.
Like 4 teams capable of winning it all every year. It's insane. But that was a matchup of 2 really good teams. I was actually following that a little bit.
I was following it for Jake. I wanted to see that. I mean, it's interesting. Hopkins, like, because my brother played at Swarthmore. He played soccer at Swarthmore. And, Hopkins is a school similar in a way to Swarthmore where, like, there's guys that have Division I talent, but Johns Hopkins academics, especially if you want to go in the medical field, their programs is incredible. So you got guys that could be playing D1 baseball, but they decide, I'll play D3 and become a doctor, like work in that field. And, it's just like, it's a huge advantage being able to have those academics so high that it's such a sell to their players to be able to go there. And I always laugh when people talk about Hopkins and they talk about like the field they play at, and then they go to the World Series and still match homers everywhere.
Yeah, that field is small.
Like, does it help? Absolutely. Yeah. But like, they were still doing it after. Like, they still have dudes everywhere.
They got dudes, but that definitely like helps the numbers a little bit. I think every year you look at Hopkins and they've got dudes with like the 15s.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the record is obviously BS, but like the fact that people discredit them as a team because of that.
Oh no, they're a very good.
It's like first off, both teams play on the same field, during a game. But yeah, the offensive stats have their ups and downs. We're gonna move on to JUCO here, because we want to give our JUCO guys some love, mostly because some of these records of the national champs are insane.
These are all nuts.
This is ridiculous. So we'll start off in D1. This is I think it's NJCAA, right? National Junior College.
NJCAA.
The College of Central Florida went 56-7 this year, and they took down Wabash Valley 13-6. Now I want to talk about this event happened in Grand Junction, Colorado. If you bet the over on every game of this run, you'd be a millionaire, because they won 12-0, 14-6, 12-9, 19-12, 14-12, and the national championship was 13-6. Every single game was in the double digits.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of a thing with some of the JUCO teams is they just have the biggest dude you've ever seen, and they crush the ball. And also 56-7, just playing a clean. What is that? 63 games.
Nice quick math. Nice quick math. Yeah.
Clean 63 game season, sure.
Yeah. I mean, JUCO. I still feel like there's too much of like a negative connotation on JUCO. Like these dudes
can ball.
These guys have Division I talent, and some of them either A, didn't find the school they like, B, needed to get their grades up. You know, maybe they were like kind of raw talent, but weren't really like polished, and they needed to kind of like, you know, clean it up before they went to a higher level school. But I mean, there are JUCO teams that would crush D1 teams.
Oh my God, yeah. It's if you treat JUCO as like a lower thing, you have no idea what you're talking about. Also with this, like the Grand Junction, Colorado, they pack out that world. So like it's a sellout almost every game. Yeah,
I don't think I've seen it before.
The one dude, Eric Sim, went out, and it's like, I don't know, 10, maybe a couple thousand, or maybe not 10K, but like upwards of above 5,000 people like at every game.
Did he like take BP on the field or anything?
I think he just did stuff with like some of the teams, but like it looks like a really cool event. That's kind of one I want to go see at some point in my life.
Oh, I mean, at the end of the day, all of this stuff is we need someone to be there. You know. All right, moving on to Division II JUCO. Enid, Oklahoma was the host of a Heartland team that went 57-5 and defeated Southeastern Iowa in the national championship. I mean, 57-5 is just absurd.
God bless these dudes, man.
Like the amount of pitching you need to have that, like even on days where you're playing like non-conference games, like you know, just like the midweeks to fill out the schedule.
Yeah.
The ability to have that many people that can get you wins is insane.
I think that's also one of the like good things about going to a JUCO is like if you are like make it onto the team, like you're gonna have to play just because there's going to be a point where even if you're the worst player on the team, there is no other option because you're in game 39 of 62.
Yeah.
And you gotta like figure something out.
So we had some local representation, Lackawanna, which is I think like northeastern PA.
Like Scranton area.
Yeah. JUCO. Vinny Proieto from Sun Valley, also an Aston Valley Knight, was on that team. They lost to that Heartland team in the first round. Apparently that team ran the table. But Lackawanna has a lot of guys from Delco and like the Delco area. So we have Vinny Proieto, obviously. We have Dom Carafa from Marple. He also played for the Mudcats. Christian Rush, I think, isn't from Delco, but he also played for the Mudcats.
He was a Mudcat, yeah.
Yeah. And Nathan Russell's from St. Joe's Prep, but Drexel Hill native. So that's still Delco.
Love that.
PC, I mean, if you're from Delco and you play in the PCL, I feel like that counts. That's like 2 out of the 3.
I think the birth town is really the one that matters the most.
Yeah. So who's more Delco? Someone that's from Delco that plays outward, or someone not from Delco that goes to a Delco school?
Well, what's what do you count as a Delco school? Like a college or a high school?
High school. Like if somebody was from Philly and played for like Bonner or like Malvern Prep, like not Malvern, Haverford School, like EA, something like that.
I'd have to give it to the person that's from Delco.
I think so.
I think that's like one of those you can do that and go out. But
yeah.
I don't know. It's a little bit harder to like come in.
Yeah, but if you win like a title with Bonner or something, like
you win a title.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We'll claim you then.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good debate. We'll say that. Write that down.
I like
Write that down.
Good.
All right,
Embrace debate.
D3, another local school, RCSJ, Rowan College of South Jersey. I think it's pronounced Gloucester.
Gloucester.
Yeah, I always thought growing up, I thought it was like Gloucester or something because I'm an idiot.
My one friend once said Gloucester.
Gloucester.
Just an insane.
Oh, man. Yeah, they took down Dallas Eastfield in Greenville, Tennessee. According to this, they ended the season on a 19-game winning streak, which has to be a pretty good feeling. They played St. Cloud Technical, Northern Essex, and then Dallas College Eastfield. Beat them twice in a row. You really got to, establish your dominance.
Yeah. That's really just showed them what's up.
Yeah.
They're like pretty much a powerhouse team in the JUCO realm, especially for like the D3 stuff. I feel like they've been one of the best for years as well.
Yeah, and I think we have a little bit on our CSJ Cumberland a little bit later on in the program. They've been training with our Motive guys that we had on last week. I don't know who put this one in here, but we got the Club Baseball National Champions. Hey, listen, it's college baseball, and it's plenty of Delco guys were involved in this, but it's true. Division I National Championship, Penn State took down the Cinderella story, University of Wisconsin Whitewater, a team that the year before actually went 3-16, and they're a D3 varsity baseball program, and they made it to regionals, and we're all like, who the hell is UW Whitewater? But then they ran the table against Michigan, Notre Dame, and Michigan State, like three legit big time programs. So they came in as the 8 seed, and then they made it to the championship. Unfortunately, I felt bad because they were great dudes, but we took them down. It was 6-3 in the championship game, and that team, our Penn State team that year was just unbelievable. The ability to come back from a 2022 season where we pretty much had our entire team go down due to injuries. I broke my ankle. We had pulled hammies. We had broken thumbs on hit by pitches. We had a pitcher that was a couple pitches away from actually breaking his elbow. For all the guys that came back to run it back, to be able to not just go back and win a national championship, but to beat every team that beat us the year before. Like in the World Series, both of our losses were against Florida State and Cal Poly, and we beat both of them this year. We didn't knock Cal Poly out. We beat them, but we knocked Florida State out. So to be able to kind of just go through everyone, and Virginia Tech, who we had a rivalry with, was just very satisfying. I think that would be the best way to put it.
It's a great run.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was the only Delco guy on the team. We did have some other District 1 and District 12 guys. Ian Tracy was my roommate from Westchester Henderson. Drew Kingsbury's freshman stud from Phoenixville. I don't know why he's not playing at a higher level. He's a beast. And Matt Fricker from Ruston, who actually knocked Strathaven out of the playoffs in, I think, 2018 or 2019. Really? I was there at that game. Obviously, I didn't know him yet. Yeah. But Justin Machida from LaSalle as well. So, yeah, the last thing I'll say about this is just playing club at Penn State was just an unbelievable experience. Culture, talent, leadership, friendship off the field. And that stuff translates to winning, because once you get to the highest level and there's teams that are very similar talent-wise, that culture and chemistry can really really be the difference. And it was just a lot of hard work, a lot of on and off the field hard work went into that. So that was pretty cool. And at the time of this interview, the rings aren't here yet. Hopefully they will be. I think we're having one day. I think we're supposed to do something like ring presentation before a series in the spring. So look forward to that. But yeah. It was in Alton, Illinois, and that's all I got. Nice. Great times.
I see the 27-3 on here. It's not quite
50, not quite 57-5. Not quite 57-5. Yeah, we lost a fall game where I was still hurt, and a bunch of guys were either hurt or ineligible just because we were taking only classes in the spring, and then we lost to Pitt, and we didn't lose again until the Final Four. It was a weird format. Florida State beat us, but then we beat them again to knock them out. It's kind of a dumb bracket. Yeah. But we'll move on real quick. D2 Club National Championship. Ohio State won, keeping it in the Big Ten. Ohio State won against Grand Canyon, who was trying to repeat. It was the same location. And, I'm thinking the Big Ten runs club baseball, even though we don't do conferences like that.
Big Ten just got some ballers. That's all
I
can say.
Yeah, I never got to play Ohio State or Michigan while I was here, which I really wanted to do. Might not have had quite the same luster as it would have on the football field, but it still would have been cool to be able to play them. For D3, this is not to make fun of D3 club baseball, but it shouldn't exist. There's not many teams that are in it. But shout out to the Milwaukee School of Engineering for their national championship.
Hey, Natty's a natty.
Yeah, it was in Butler, PA, which is Pittsburgh area. And hey, listen, they still got rings just like us, right? They beat Kent State in the finals. I just don't think there's enough teams for D3 club baseball. But shout out the Miners, I think was their name. I'm not positive.
Milwaukee School of Engineering seems like the minor could work there.
Yeah, all right, let's see.
Or the engineers. It could just be the engineers.
You think it would be that simple?
You never know.
There's got to be on the Wikipedia, there's got to be a mascot or something. The Raiders, that's lame.
The Raiders.
Yeah.
That's something.
Lame.
All right. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. All right. So now that we got the national championships out of the way, we're going to talk about how some Delco College teams did last year. And I guess we got to kind of have to start off on a sad note here. That Cabrini had a good year, but this is going to be the last year of their program, which sucks.
Yeah, I guess we can probably start playing the sad music as we walk through this.
It's a shame.
Yeah, it really is, honestly.
I will say the one reason I'm not upset about it is because I got a golden sombrero at Cabrini my freshman year. I struck out all 4 times. I think 3 of them were swinging too, which is bad.
Dude.
Oh man, that was the worst baseball day of my life. I was awful. I was like in the middle of a slump, and it was just not good. But no, it sucks. They lost to Immaculata in the Atlantic East Tournament Championship. Pat Toll, stud, Haverford School was on that team. 2 Haverford High School guys, Ryan Brown and Hunter Kryza were as well. But it's just a shame. Like I know that a lot of guys, really liked that program. A lot of guys wanted to, especially guys that just committed there, thought that was going to be their home. And, there's nothing they can do about it, which is the hardest part. Getting that taken away from you is the hard part.
It is a real shame. Also, another guy, Christian Strickland, also a Delco.
He's
guy.
Delco. That's right. Yeah, I forget. He went to St. Andrews, St. Mary, something. St. Elizabeth. St. Elizabeth.
Yeah,
it's in
Delaware.
Yeah. No, I completely blanked on him as being. See, that's the old debate.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's still a shame though. It sucks that, and we're kind of seeing that with like a couple other D3, or at least smaller schools that they're starting to get bought up, and I don't know. It sucks. It sucks for the people that go there and like kind of put in all that time and effort just for like Villanova to buy your school.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, we'll move on to Widener here. They were 22-20. They lost to Alvernia in the conference semis on a walk-off. Quick shout out to the boy Andrew Yates. Heck of a career at Widener. That dude's a gamer. He's been slept on for so long. And he's just a pest in the Delco League for us.
Oh my
what a
God,
beast!
he rakes.
Yeah, he went yard against us, and he was someone. So he's obviously a Strathaven guy, same position as me. I was a senior and he was a sophomore, and he got like called up, like after the JV season was done, just to be like on the bench and experience it and stuff. And like I will fully admit, I never thought he was gonna be this good. I knew he was a good player. He was good in high school, but he just really committed the time and effort to get better, and it showed.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'm happy for him, and I just prefer when he's not hitting baseballs against my team. I'll say that. All right, we got Newman. I don't really know much about Newman because there's really not many Delco guys that play there. For a school in Aston, they were 19-23. They lost to Cabrini in the Atlantic East Tournament, but Isaiah Payton from Episcopal was the only Delco player on the roster, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. It is weird, like considering they're just right there in Delco, but yeah, you really don't hear anything about them. I feel like they always kind of have that same year of like 19-23, like. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we never played them when I was at Brandywine. We didn't play Widener either, so I don't really know much about the program. I don't really know many people that played there. Maybe we'll make it out to a game. Was I there? I was there for the Strathaven States game.
Yeah,
that was at Newman. Yeah. All right, let's move on to Swarthmore here. Same conference as Johns Hopkins, which is unfortunate. They were 20-18-1. They lost to Haverford in the conference tournament, who we'll talk about in a little bit. They only had one guy from Delco on the team, and that was Evan Johnson, who went to Shipley, which I don't know if it's technically Delco. Bryn Mawr is, I think.
Well, Shipley's in like right near Radnor.
I think it's close enough.
Close enough,
yeah. He was on the squad last year. We got 2 freshmen on the team now. Brad Johnson from Episcopal, who I was the one Episcopal game I was able to make this year. Had a big game in the playoffs. Nice. And Jaden Shukman, I think this is how it's pronounced, from the Haverford School as well. I will take it to the grave that Swarthmore has the best baseball, like, I want to say complex, but like aesthetically the best baseball facilities in Delco. I mean, my brother lived in those dorms that they built into the fence, and he would be able to just walk out on his deck, and he's on top of the left field fence, and it was so cool. And they were really good when he was there. I think they made the World Series at least once when they were there.
Yeah, they had the World Series.
That field is so cool. I assume you guys didn't play them, right?
No, we played them
at Swarthmore.
Yeah,
really?
We played them my sophomore and junior year. My sophomore year, I think, was the year they made the World Series, and then my junior year, the next year, we played them when they were ranked like 4th in the country. And so I've been to that field multiple times. I actually didn't go then because I pitched the day before and had a test.
And it was like, what's the point? Not a conference game. Yeah.
But that is, I think, like, even saying like best facilities in Delco might leave like shortchanging.
Yeah.
Like Southeast PA at least.
Yeah. I think the nicest field in Delco is Episcopal. I mean, that's like major league quality stuff. But like in terms of like
you put in everything else.
In terms of I'm talking like environment. You know, you got the buildings out there and left, like people out there. It's just such a cool field to be on.
Yeah, and that's like fields are like right on campus. Or
really because there's the soccer fields down there, and then there's the the field house. All right, we'll stay in the Centennial Conference here. We will go with Haverford College. They were knocked out by Dickinson in the Centennial Conference tournament. They only had 2 Delco players on the roster. That was Johnny Fleeter and Mitchell Pagano. Johnny went to the Haverford school. Mitch went to Episcopal. So from rivals to teammates, that's always an interesting development.
Yeah, I feel like it's always still though. Sometimes it's like you guys kind of become like really good friends once you get to college. Like it's like we've been playing against each other for a while and
stick together.
Yeah, you have that background. You kind of know each other. It's someone you know when you go into this new place. So
yeah. Well, we have a very clear leader of what Delco team has the most, or what college team has the most Delco players
this
on
is a
it.
Shocker, by the way.
I think Penn State Brandywine. I want to say, is this 11? I think there might be 11 now. So they had Jimmy Carey from Springfield. Shout out Solomon Bayuk from Strathaven. Sean Webb from Bonner. Ryan Snyder from Sun Valley, Nick Wright from Sun Valley, Upper Darby Blue Sox, Mike Govan from Marple, and Dan Neary. So that was 7, and then I think they're having more coming this year.
They have a ton.
Yeah,
they have a ton. There's a ton of. They probably have 5 or 6 freshmen that are coming in. There's an insane amount.
They will be Division III next season, I believe, and they lost to Penn State York in the PSUAC tournament last year, which I think was in State College. I think it was supposed to be in State College my freshman year when we were in it, but I think there was so much rain that they moved it to Du Bois because it was turf.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think that's what we did, and we lost to Du Bois. But yeah, they got one more shot to win that PSUAC championship before they go. I think United East, right? With like Berks and Harrisburg and the other branch schools. Yeah. All right, so the last school in Delco that we haven't talked about is Delaware County Community College, and I'm not exactly sure what's going on because they had no roster or schedule posted from last year. They had a lot of stuff from 2022, but they do have a schedule for 2024 up, but no roster.
So that is a thing that I noticed when going through and doing a lot of the stuff for this episode. A lot of the JUCOs just, and I will gripe more about this, just don't have like rosters and schedules and stats,
which is messed up because those guys should be getting support to go play in college.
Like it seems like they all have it set up for this year, but like historically, like last year, you just can't find it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely.
Shout out to my guy Kareem Cunningham. I'm pretty sure he's either just got the job as the head coach or as an assistant coach there, or
I think the head coach follows our account. I'm blanking on his name, but I don't think it's Kareem. I think he might still be on the staff.
Kareem was on the staff at one point, so if he's still there, shout out to you. Good luck this year.
Yeah. All right, we're going to move into a different segment here. This is going to talk fully about the teams with the most Delco guys on it. So as we mentioned with Brandywine, we got, I think, 11. So Jimmy Carey's still on here, Sean Webb, Caleb Marandino. I remember him from Pencrest, writing about him in articles. Ryan Snyder, Brandon Short from Carroll, Jaden Mitchell from Carroll, Sam Benvignotti from Carroll. It's a Carroll takeover. Mike Govan still here. Kenny White from Bonner. Ian Marin from Chichester, who I also remember. And Vernon Davis, not the NFL tight end, but Vernon Davis from Penwood. Was that
That's 11? That's 11.
I don't even know how big their roster is. But, I mean, 11 is it's probably double anybody else.
I call it like
list.
a third of their roster, probably, which makes sense. I feel like that's like a big Delco school for people to go to.
Yeah, so. there's a good amount when I was there. But yeah, I mean, like we said, they're going to need to build a roster up, like size-wise, to beat D3. I mean, how big was yours? Like, not even non-dressed.
Oh, I mean, we dressed everyone, but we were, I think, most years above 40.
Yeah, in club we were 25. That was it, which is fine. But yeah, no, that makes sense. We got Westchester. So Westchester made the College World Series in 2022. They got knocked out by Millersville last year in regionals. Johnny DiMucci used to coach him. He played at Bonner. He's a catcher. He was named, I think, something all-region very, very recently.
Yeah.
Joe Sperone from O'Hara pitched in the Delco League a little bit for the Colonials. Andrew Cantwell from Marple also pitched for the Colonials. Casey Vaughn, I believe, was also a Colonial. Yeah. So, He's a JUCO bandit too.
Yeah, he was he was Cumberland, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I used to play hockey with him actually. That's how I met him. Yeah, that's Springfield Hockey League. Immaculata. So Upper Darby Blue Sock, Steve Tyson, Beast, Eric Molinaro from Marple, Steve's from Garnet Valley. Steven DiBattista had a great year pitching last year, lefty pitcher from Bonner. Matt Rose from Ridley, I think was also a Colonial, along with Eric Molinaro and Johnny Fitz, Upper Darby Blue Sox. So what can you say about Steve and Johnny?
I mean, so Steve's been a starter there for a while, and I think he's excelled every year he's been out there, as he has in Delco. So we'll get into players to watch, but like it's no secret he is one of them. And then Johnny, I guess redshirted last year at Westchester, transferred this winter, but he's got legit stuff, so he'll fit in perfectly on that staff.
Portal's hot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean Immaculata. So I'm not gonna give away my full whereabouts, but I live like a 30-second drive from Immaculata.
You're just gonna get doxxed.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm not that hard to find. If you come over, you can meet my dog Buster. He's very friendly. No, but Immaculata is right around the corner, and I'm pretty sure last year they hosted the Atlantic East tournament. I guess if you're the 1 seed, I think you just host the whole tournament.
Yeah, some conferences do
so
that.
if that gets hosted at Immaculata, and a lot of other teams that we have guys on will be there, that would be fun to do something from that. Another Delco League masterpiece. This team, Dickinson, Cole Peichel, Strathaven guy, Grayson Walker, Haverford School, Dylan Pasenchek, French Central, and Will Ferris from the Haverford School. I know all 4 of these guys have played Delco League. Grayson was on our Upper Darby team. Yep. Cole's on Wayne. Pasenchek was on the Drexel Hill Ducks this year. That dude talks for 99% of the game. Yeah. It's mostly funny, but sometimes it's just like, dude, shut him and Mike Anderson. Oh, they never shut up, and it's hilarious.
That's awesome.
And who else? And Will Ferris, I think, was on the Colonials for a little bit. Dickinson last year was in the Centennial playoffs, and I think Cole had a 15 strikeout shutout. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, on F&M.
That's 9 innings too.
Yeah.
Because playoffs or any Centennial game, I think, is 9 innings. I think they only do 9.
Yeah, I think so.
But Centennial games, man, I want to get out to one of them
100%.
too. Yeah.
There'll be some good ones.
All right, so we talked about Penn State Club baseball earlier a little bit, obviously, but there are I think we got 6 guys here from Delco on this team, which I think is second behind Brandywine. Yeah. So we got Owen Mathis, the youngest of the Mathis trifecta. He is a Marple guy. Drew Lamonicus from Conestoga. Pat Mannix and Austin Marks are both Radnor guys. We also have Justin Brennan from Marple made the squad this year, and Greg Adams from Garnet Valley. And it's definitely had its ups and downs in terms of Delco guys on the club. Will Park was Episcopal. Merrick Delonzo was Lower Marion. It sucked that I was the only one to be there this most recent year. But I'll keep selling my pitch to any high school guys who don't have either the offers they want or just want to go to a bigger school or whatever to go there. But both of these teams have legit chances to make some noise, because the D1 team brought back 6 of the lineup and one of the best pitchers in the region last year, Brady Palmer, and then they got the experience from last year. But yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
And like I tweeted it out earlier today. I said something like, I really hope they can bring it home so I can say I was a part of a dynasty. Like if they win like 3 in the next, or like 2 in the next 3 years, like get 3 in a couple of years, like I'd be like, hey, like they did most of the work, but I was still there for a lot of it. All right, let's move on to a Philadelphia area team. We got St. Joe's. We got Max Hittman from Carroll, Tim Dickinson from Malvern Prep, Drexel Hill Duck, Luke Zimmerman from Marple. He was a Wayne guy in the Delco League. We also had Don Pacone from Garnet Valley, and we had Paul Kogel from Bonner. So that's a team that's going to play some other Delco guys. And also, there's really not too much college baseball left in Philly.
No, outside of...
LaSalle's gone. I don't think Drexel has a team.
No.
Temple doesn't have a team. Obviously, Villanova and Penn. We love our Penn guys.
Yeah.
Shout out the regional team last year.
Well, so it's just Nova, Penn, and St. Joe's left, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is a St. Joe's team that last year, I'm pretty sure they went in and took a game from Duke, I think, in that series.
Yeah, I think so.
They had
a really good run last year.
Yeah. Anybody who ever wants to call me old for playing college baseball at 23, Luke Zimmerman is still in college, who was 1 year younger than me. So I guess he must be doing like grad school there, and he's one of the better two-way guys in the area. So hopefully he still gets to keep doing both of those. As the resident D3 guy, you want to tell us about Misericordia here?
Oh yeah, this is again like one of the better teams in D3 baseball. Finally, kind of adding a couple Delco guys here. I think all these guys are freshmen, right? So we got Brian Henry from Bonner, Josh Lillis from Sun Valley. He's a Aston Valley Knight.
Yes, he was.
And Drew Van Horn, Wayne guy, and also from Garnet Valley. They're gonna have a good team, and we're gonna have a couple more guys coming next year.
Yeah. Who else we have committed? We had Jake McDonough from Strathaven, who of course we had on the show, and then we also had Will Tamar from Haverford. Yep. So they went from 0 to 5, and I would like to eventually make it to any College World Series, but does the D3 one rotate every couple years? Because I think it was in Iowa when Swarthmore went.
It's not every couple years. It's probably I don't know. I think they just kind of like the venue stopped wanting to host it, so they go somewhere else.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't know. Some teams do like contracts and stuff to decide. Obviously, D1 is in Omaha every year. I feel like D2 is usually at like the USA Baseball Complex or something.
I think it's Cedar Rapids, Iowa for D3.
Yeah, no, that sounds right. We also have our Rhode Island guys. So Eric Genther and Mike Anderson have both came on the show before. They came on when it was still a Zoom show. Eric was, I think, during one of his summer leagues. He came on the show, and Mike was after one of his like huge leagues because he started red hot last year.
Yeah,
he hit like 4 home runs in his first couple of games. And we also have Ethan Mahan, a Wayne guy from Haverford. Didn't pitch too much because he was still recovering from he's having arm issues, and I think he's back to normal now. But when he can bring it, man, he can pump it.
Oh yeah, I saw a couple of videos of him throwing. Actually, I think this week, and he looks good.
I think it was this week.
Looks real good.
Yeah. He also, I don't think he's going to hit at the D1 level, but he actually hit pretty well for Wayne when he was, early in the season before everybody kind of like filtered in.
We love a two-way.
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani of the Rhode Island area. All right, we talked about the teams that have Delco guys. We're just going to now kind of transition to individual players, guys that we think are due for big years. So I will start first with Alden Mathis. We talked about Owen Mathis a little bit with Penn State. Alden is now playing in the ACC. He transferred to Clemson after a great career at Richmond. Had a big 2022. He hit .344 with 10 home runs. He ended up getting drafted by the Orioles, decided he wanted to finish out his time at Richmond. He didn't have quite the same like gaudy numbers he had in 2023, but I think teams were kind of just starting to realize, like, don't pitch to him.
Yeah, the talent's obvious there, and I think like when you end up going to a place like Clemson, like you're no joke. Like,
yeah, they were top 5 last year. They hosted a regional. I think they lost to Tennessee, but they hosted a regional.
They were a very good team last year.
Yeah, ACC road trip absolutely in the works. But I'm excited to see him. I don't know obviously what their depth chart looks like, whatever. Yeah. But obviously early in the season, everybody gets their shot to prove themselves. So we'll be keeping an eye on him. We talked a little bit about Mike Anderson already. He was an A10 All Rookie team. He was second team All A10 just entirely. Had 10 home runs as a freshman. You got to think, man, sky's the limit.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. He was also a freshman All-American, so one of the best in D1 baseball in general. He's going to be a fun one to watch, I think, like, especially as his career progresses. And we talked a little bit about, like, transfer portal and NIL. Like, he's a guy where, I don't know, it's kind of like, I don't know if it's, like, good to speculate this or not, but if he keeps the pace, I think a big name's going to come. Oh,
absolutely. And that's not, like, wrong to bring up. It's just the reality of the game now. He also has had some pitching appearances. So he was Bonner's guy, during that season. So him and Kevin Henrik just were crazy, top of the rotation combo. And I really knew him more as a pitcher than hitter just because like I wasn't really covering like the game and stuff yet. And I saw him in the Delco League. I'm like, this dude's kind of chucking. But it seems like at the end of the day, as a freshman, like you'll take any playing time you can get, and it's what the team needs. Like if they didn't need arms right now, they didn't need arms, but they might again someday, right? Like there's plenty of options, but I'm excited to see that Rhode Island team.
Absolutely.
All right, we talked about Eric Genther a little bit. He started all 52 games, which is impressive. 7 home runs, hit .288. Very athletic guy. Ball just shoots off of his bat. Good dude. And the A10's got some some talent here because we talked about Dom and Luke Zimmerman as well. As our resident pitching guy, have you ever seen Dom before?
I have seen him a couple times actually, just doing when he was on when I would work tournaments for All Star, he would be pitching in a couple, and you could tell like pretty legit.
And it's funny because he's not that big. Yeah, I think there was one time where some of my friends were still playing for Ridley, and they played Dom in a playoff game, and he just mowed them down.
Yeah.
Like they had no prayer. And he shut him out. And I'm like, all right, this guy, he's got the it factor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just like a gamer. So,
no, he was legit, like, conference guy for them last year, was an all A-10 guy.
I don't know if he was their number one, but I think he was out. He would start in the weekend, absolutely.
Yeah, he was a weekend starter for them, which is, if you're listening to this and not familiar with college baseball, your 3 weekend starters, or sometimes in, like, the case of D2, 4, those are your best 4 pitchers. Usually.
They only pitch conference games.
Yeah.
They pitch, it's usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes it's 2 Saturday, depending on lights. Honestly, the SEC's been doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday as well. But, that's like usually how that operates. Let's move on to my favorite baseball family in Delaware County. It's the Mutz family. Brady just transferred from Monmouth to Delaware. He is the best catcher I've ever been on the field with at the same time. I think his arm, man, he has a cannon. I know he just had an arm injury, so I hope he's able to kind of get back to where he was. But running on him was just pointless.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen him as much as you have, but, dude, he was a good catcher.
Yeah, I think he played for Wayne for a little bit. He was a sophomore when I was a senior, so I only got to see him for a little bit. Even back then, man, like his senior year was obviously, the best he was in high school, but like his sophomore year, I'm like, this guy's got it. And Luke Mutz, and unfortunately, Luke also had a bad shoulder injury. I think he either tore his labrum or rotator cuff, missed our whole summer for Wayne. He's got 1 year left at Nova, and he just tore it up at Swarthmore when he was there. And I think that he's going to have a bounce back year and make a name for himself because it's hard to find a 5-tool middle infielder, but he's got it. He doesn't hit for as much power, but when you play second base, like, anything you can add is, it's going to be worth it.
He could put a barrel on anything, and before the injury, he was starting either somewhere in the infield for them. So
I think it's second, yeah.
Hopefully, he can kind of come back and reclaim that spot.
Well, Jack O'Reilly, Episcopal alum, also had a big 2023 season for Villanova. He started 50 games. He hit .303. Will definitely be one of Nova's best players. I believe he started at Notre Dame.
Yep.
Because I remember in the Delco League he had the gold helmet. Yeah, it was it the COVID
you could
summer?
not miss that thing. Yeah, I think it was a COVID summer.
Man, the league was so good that year. Oh, somehow my best year. I don't know how. Like against better competition, but that was the dudes in that league. We could do a draft of just like the best players, and it was ridiculous. Another Delco League guy. We got Josh Hankins, Upper Darby Blue Sox. He is transferring from Coppin State to Gonzaga. A little far from home.
Going across the country.
What? Somewhere in Washington?
Yeah,
I don't know where it is.
I think it's Spokane.
Yeah. I mean, hey, listen. D1 opportunity is a D1 opportunity. He started at Coppin State. He was, I think, all conference or like rookie of the year maybe.
Yeah, he was really good there.
Yeah, I like your note here. We'll be featured in many Delco baseball after darks. Yeah. Oh, come home from the bar at midnight. What's going on? Washington versus Gonzaga, 10 p.m. start out there. Who else is after dark? Justin Rubin transferred to Pepperdine.
Yes, he'll be.
You ever see that field before?
Yeah, it's at the one that's right on the ocean.
Yeah, that's one of those, like, if you have a bunch of schools that, are around the same caliber, giving you an offer, you go to that one because it's awesome out there.
It's a thing of beauty.
Oh, man. I don't need an excuse to go out there, but that place looks awesome. All right, so we talked a little Westchester. We had Johnny DiMucci. Yeah, I mean, led the team in batting average, 923 OPS. A very athletic catcher. He stole 17 bases.
Really?
Yeah. And 46 games?
That's an impressive.
Oh, yeah, JT Real Muto type stuff here. Joe Sperone, I think, was their first starter last year, maybe second.
He was one of their top guys. He was again, like a weekend guy.
7-4, 4 ERA. Shout out to his mom, big supporter of Delco Baseball now on Facebook. She cracks me up. She's been supporting us since the beginning, so shout out Mrs. Sperone. But, Westchester, Andrew Cantwell on that squad as well. But so you wrote Joey Pettinelli from Kutztown. I played with him for the Colonials very briefly, but he had a big year last year.
Yeah, I mean, he started 37 of 40 games at shortstop.
Sophomore.
On a team that, when I'm going in and looking at this, I didn't know, but they had a 13-win improvement from 2022 to 23.
Wow.
So on a team that improved a lot, he was a starting shortstop. The numbers hit like 255, which, playing good defense, that works. But
As a sophomore, that's great.
Yeah, he was a key part of a team that
PSAC.
got a lot better.
And one of the best D2 conferences in the nation, absolutely. We got Mike Valente here. He's Cal UPA. He played for Wayne. He was a Strathaven guy as well. And, man, he got that velo up. He was another guy where for a while he was just always kind of small and lanky, and then he shot up and then he filled out. And, I mean, he hit 91 somewhere this summer. I forget where it was, some facility. But he was big for us. For Wayne, he was our number 3 guy because we had Cam Matheson and then Luke Zim, and then he would pitch after that usually. But I'm excited. I mean, he was a freshman last year. He's got a chance to, take a big step. I don't obviously know much about Cal U in terms of their pitching rotation, but,
I mean, it seems like he got a couple – he got 15 relief appearances last year and did pretty well. So
I think he should get a chance to start,
It seemed like he – velo jumped over the summer. He's hitting over 90, hopefully consistently now. I think you could see a pretty good year out of him. We'll see what he does if he is out of the bullpen or starting again, or out of the bullpen again or starting.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
All right, so you wrote this last one down here from D2. I don't know much about him. What do you got?
I know. So this was just when we were thinking of teams to look through. Chestnut Hill kind of came up. And granted, I guess he kind of probably played in high school a little before we started doing this.
Yeah.
I had not heard of him before, but Marlon Rose from Chestnut Hill, he appeared in 23 games for them as a reliever through 52 innings with a 4.1 ERA. So one of their best guys.
From Lower Merion,
From
right?
Lower Merion, yeah. Without starting a game, he went 6-5, which is
chaotic.
Yeah.
That's just a lot of wins, a lot of losses for not a lot of appearances. So he's a difference maker. You either want the game over or you want the game over, when you put him in.
They're throwing this dude into some serious situations. Also, check the profile picture of him. Sick mustache.
Sick I need to look this up real quick. I'm going to make a note to myself when editing. Find a picture of Marlon Rose's mustache on here.
I'm telling you.
Wow, that's fierce.
It's clean.
Little goat action going on the bottom here, but yeah. I don't think I recognize him.
No, I genuinely had never heard the name and saw the numbers and was like, dude.
Maybe just never played Delco League.
Yeah,
that'd probably be my guess.
He's out there killing it, though, so shout out to him.
All right, for our first Division III player here, I'm going to let you talk about him because he is an Elizabethtown Blue Jay.
I am proud to put this name out here. Quentin Perilli had just one of the best freshman seasons I think you could ask for. Was all-region Rookie of the Year. So that is not only the conference, like pretty much around every school in this area, all-region third team, Landmark Conference Rookie of the Year, first team. He hit 383 with 11 home runs, 51 RBIs. Like, he was just doing something insane.
11 home runs as a freshman is crazy.
Yeah, dude. And at E-Town's field and the fields they play at, they're no joke. Like, you gotta get one to get it out.
Oh, yeah. D3 fields, there's some.
Yeah, they don't mess around. But he had just a huge year, and it's going to be, he's going to take over as, I guess, the leader of an offense that lost a lot of guys. But he's going to be a dude to watch for the next couple of years. As an Elizabethtown alum, really excited to see him.
You said here that he had some pitching appearances?
He had 5. Yeah, he threw a little bit. He pitched a little bit in the Delco League. I remember I don't remember. I don't think he closed the game against us where I forget what it was when Everly was coaching and they had 2 guys that couldn't get outs and he had to come in and finish it. Throws pretty hard though. I don't know what else he does besides a fastball, but he throws pretty hard.
All right, another guy who I was surprised to see still in college, Isaiah Winokur from Johns Hopkins. He started 34 games in the outfield. He hit 344 with 9 homers before, unfortunately, an injury cut his season short. He had to miss the, back end of that playoff run. As the other D3 guy, so they're number 1 in the polls right now.
Yep.
I was talking about it before on camera. I think that if you won the national championship, you should still be the number 1 until you lose it. Even if you lost some guys, take it from them on the field.
I think with the rankings, you got to be a little realistic. Where I don't know what Lynchburg gained or lost, but if you lose a lot of guys, like you're just not going to be as good of a team.
But like I'm more of like a just wait a week. Like if they you know stink it up, then you're like, all right, we'll take it.
That's a good point.
But yeah, no, team always a threat to make a deep run. Cole Peichel and Dickinson became one of their main starters in 2023. He had a 3.5 ERA, 6-2 record. Like we mentioned, the 15 strikeout, complete game shutout, and you know he's going to be one of their Friday, Saturday, Sunday guys. Absolutely,
yeah, for sure.
Grayson Walker too, Upper Darby Blue Sox. What do you have about him on here?
I was saying this could be like a potential Delco 1-2 punch here, because he got a lot of appearances, a lot of starts last year, and really impressive out of him. He struck out 72 dudes in 53 innings.
That'll play. I think as a sophomore.
Yeah.
I think him and Cole were both sophomores.
Yeah,
so they still got 2 more opportunities left.
Might have 2 years of some solid Delco pitching out of Dickinson.
Yeah. Dylan Pasenchek, another Dickinson guy, played for the Ducks this summer. He hit, what do we got here? 293 in 41 games. But his defense, 81 putouts to 1 error is going to play, especially when you're a young guy in college, to stay on the field. But like we said, high energy guy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that's like a really good thing to have out of your center fielder. I mean, he started 41 games. I think that was all the games they played this year. So, I think you can't really ask for much more out of your guy in center. And he'll be a dude that I think they had, in the beginning of the year, had him in the top of the lineup, kind of dropped down and moved around a little bit. But I think you can expect to see him back up towards the top this year.
Steve Tyson started 32 games. He hit 372 for Immaculata. Will be a big bat for them, and I believe they won their first ever conference title last year.
Second, I think
Did they go back to back? Okay, yeah.
I think they're back to back.
Because I remember talking to Steve recently about like winning the first one.
Yeah,
and I think he came on twice. Yeah, he came on the show to talk about it as well, and we've talked about how he's like, I had offers to play at higher levels, but I wanted to come somewhere and play right away, and it feels like he's been a key part of their lineup for so long now.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's been a guy that I think he's been getting time since he was a freshman.
That's why he went there, yeah.
Very deservedly so. He's just an incredible player. So I think this is a senior year.
I think it has to be at this point.
It's got to be, unless... I
think he was a 2020 grad in high school, so 21, 22, 23, 24.
Okay, so if he wants to use a grad year, he can, but this will be your senior year, like it's going to be another big one for him.
Steven D. Batista, one of the best arms for Immaculata last year. The Bonner alum had a 2.28 ERA in 67 innings. Got time as a starter and a reliever. And in the playoffs, that is very valuable because our ace for our club team had 2 saves in the World Series after not relieving all year.
Yeah, I mean, having guys that can do both is just huge, especially like when you get further on in tournaments, be it the conference tournament, regionals. You lose that first or second game, you're going to have a game 4 or something where you're going to need to go to a guy who may not be your main starter. And we have a dude that's was lights out basically and is very capable of starting. That's a huge weapon to have. Absolutely.
Christian Strickland stayed on board for Cabrini's last dance. He will be there for the last season. He'll be the starting catcher again. He could catch every game in the season if you needed him to. He
may have last year, too.
He does that for the Blue Sox. He was the Delco League MVP this last summer. Congrats, Christian. He had a 360 average for Cabrini last year, but I still don't really get the whole stretch thing he does before he hits. Has he ever explained it?
No. I've honestly never just asked him because he usually hits pretty well. So I'm like, it's one of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
The first day I ever saw him, I went to Kerr. I wasn't even in the Delco League yet. I just wanted to watch Drew Robinson pitch. And I saw this kid go into the box and do this like weird back stretch. And then he went yard on the first pitch. I'm like, who the hell is that guy? I'm like, God, that guy's cool. Yeah, I'm like, I wish I was him. But I'm I guess if you're a senior, like you might as well just go down with the ship, right? Like, play with Cabrini, and it's not like you're losing any years going forward. Like, obviously, kids transferred, but
and that's what I was. I'm pretty good friends with one of their assistant coaches who was saying that they're basically for the guys who like obviously there's the seniors that come back and this is it, like whatever. But other guys, they're basically just telling them to use it as a JUCO year and either get these stats out there and just go transfer somewhere else.
It makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense. All right, let's go to a motive training guy, Will Kelly from Ursinus, Springfield Colonial in the Delco League. Played all 40 games. He started in 37 of them, hit 305, and he's just the definition of a pest.
Oh yeah,
in the box, man. I hate playing against him. I'll admit it, and he knows it too.
He probably is hitting like 750 off me. It's bad. But
It's because no offense, he might not look it, but he can move.
dude,
He's fast.
He's quick, and he can hit anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, clearly he hit 305.
Loves the lay bunt down.
Yep.
I know Trainer gets pissed when he does it and it doesn't work. But yeah, we got another Ursinus guy along with him. We got Casey Murphy. He's a Lower Merion guy. He went 6-3 as a starter. He was second team All Centennial last year for Ursinus, and he was a Narberth, I think, a Narberth outsider. Right, that's what they're called.
Yeah,
the new
the
team.
Narberth Outsiders.
Yeah,
Okay.
I used to play against him in Legion for a while. Who's this next guy here? I actually don't know who this is.
So
I'll be honest.
he was. That was again just kind of scrolling through rosters.
Yeah.
Shane Rebane from Radnor was, saw it. Went to go see what his stats were, and pretty good. He was an All Centennial honorable mention guy, which is no joke. I mean, I think the way that works, probably one of the top 6 to 9 relievers in the country.
Yeah.
Not the country, the conference.
Yeah, another Centennial guy from a different team, Franklin and Marshall. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of Centennial representation here.
1.75 ERA in 17 appearances
Legit.
will get you on this list any day. Absolutely. All right, we got another Upper Darby Blue Sock who was at a school that I did not realize he was at.
Yeah, so this was he had told me this in the summer. So this is Max Anastasio.
Great hair.
Yeah. great
Also
hair.
terrible hair, but you know.
That's either it's what's the word for that? Polarizing.
Yes. Oh, that's a
Polarizing.
great word. That's a great word.
But yeah, so he was at Oberlin in Ohio. Had a few solid years, and he was telling me in the summer he was transferring to Baldwin Wallace, they were speaking of preseason rankings, they're number 3. They were a Final Four team last year. Max is a very good hitter, and I think he's going to go there and try and break into a team. And if he does, that's another Delco guy that I think has a really good shot at bringing home a national championship.
Where is Baldwin Wallace?
Also in Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Don't ask me where in Ohio, but it is in Ohio.
That's all we needed to know. That's all we needed to know. All right, so this is a really cool one because these guys grew up together. They've known each other since they were kids. Sammy Berman and Roman Tazi have teamed up at Catholic. Sammy started at Hofstra. Roman started at Barton in North Carolina. And they both decided to go the D3 route to Catholic, and they get to play together now, which is really cool.
Yeah, no, that's a really cool added in there. Just there came as a package deal, I guess.
I honestly feel like they were going to go to the same place regardless.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's got to be like such a good time to do that, or to do that with like one of your best friends.
Still got 3 years left.
Yeah,
maybe 4.
Gonna live it up there. But that was neither guy got a ton of time.
That's why they're here.
They are. We've seen them a bunch in the Delco League. They're pretty much veterans of that league.
We would not have won that championship in 2021 if Sammy Berman didn't exist.
Yeah.
Sammy Berman came up biggest at bat of his life, and if he got out, we would have been down 2-0 with Chris Murphy on the mound. But he hit a ground rule double to tie the game, and Super walked it off.
Mm-hmm.
Just ice. And then we played Roman and Aston Valley in the finals. But yeah, no, I mean, I think what conference are they? Yours? Are they Landmark?
Catholic.
They're a Landmark.
It's
Okay.
a big Elizabethtown rival. So I'll root for them all but 3 games.
Do you know if that game is at Elizabethtown?
So that's
Is that one of the series
that
to
is one of the
watch?
series we have on-
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler. But the Landmark added new teams. So they went from 7 to 9.
Okay.
So they now have certain conference series are split throughout the year. Etown and Catholic is split throughout the
So who do they add?
Lycoming and Wilkes.
Penn State Wilkes or just Wilkes? Okay, yeah.
Just Wilkes.
Let's see. So off the top of my head, there's Susky, there's Elizabethtown. I think Scranton is in that, right?
Yep.
Then we have we said Wilkes and Lycoming were the other ones that we have. Catholic. So
I don't think you're going to get the last 3.
Is Marywood?
No.
All right, what do you got?
Moravian.
I probably wouldn't have guessed that.
They're Drew. They're in North Jersey.
We played them before, I think.
And then there's one out by Penn State.
Keystone?
No.
Juniata. Yeah. That's like middle of nowhere, PA.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Keystone, you got an Upper Darby Blue Sock for us.
Yes, sir. We got Darren Hagan transferred into Keystone. Another guy who's went from I guess he went from Coppin State as well.
Mm-hmm.
Transferred into a really good D3 program. Another like national powerhouse. They're regional, super regional. I don't think I've seen them make a World Series run in a while, but I think it's big.
They win their conference every single year.
They win the conference every year.
It's the one with DeSales, right?
No,
that's Misericordia. They're United East.
They're with Wilson.
Yeah.
They're with
But like that's the one Brandy one's going into.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, they win it every year.
He's another guy where if he can break into that lineup, we got another Delco guy on a premier D3 team.
JUCO, we talked about Vinny Proieto a little bit, but we didn't talk about Jimmy DiCarlo, who's a Delco League guy on the Black Sox. He goes to RCSJ Cumberland, JUCO Bandit.
Yes, sir.
You can just, like, he was a guy, he was like 16 on that Blue Sox championship team. He barely played, but you see him like really putting in the work and filling it out, and he had a great summer.
Oh yeah, you can tell like he can swing it a lot, and they're both going into their final year of JUCO, so we'll see. Like hopefully they break it in the lineup a little bit, and also kind of going on from there. We'll see where they end up next year.
Yeah, I talked to Vinny at Ascent the one day. We were there hitting with him and Kevin McGonigal and a bunch of the NJIT guys that were there, and he was basically like, I have absolutely no idea where I'm going to go, but I know that it's going to be somewhere, so I just need to, focus on having a good year. I'm like,
Love that.
I wish you the best, He's a pest on the base pass, too. He just looks so Italian when he plays baseball. He's got the button down, the chain out, the long hair, and he's like, how you doing? Like, he cracks me up. He would be fun to have on the show.
Yeah,
he would be. That's a Delco League interview right there. Him and Everly would be must-see TV. You added Brandywine guys, right?
Yes, we got some Brandywine guys. I mean, we mentioned how many they have. 3 that I think really got a lot of playing time last year, and we'll see again this year. Sean Webb, Brian Snyder, and Michael Govan.
I think Govan, yeah.
That was Sean hit 396 in 40 games. Ryan hit 320 in 38 games and had 17 innings on the mound, so we'll see him a lot. And then Michael Govan he led the team in relief appearances with 11, so we'll probably see him again. Big arm out of the bullpen there.
Those Carroll guys are good. So
Yeah,
I think getting him. Sam Benvignotti was at Chestnut Hill. I know that.
Oh, okay. That's a big pickup for them too.
I think it was Chestnut Hill. Yeah. All right. So sorry if that was a little repetitive. We kind of just wanted to give the individual guys their love here. But this is something. This was Ben's idea here. Great segment idea. These are big series to watch out for.
Yeah. So this is now if you're ever looking to get into college baseball, like these are some really good ones we got from D1 down to D3. Most of these you should be able to watch in some shape or form, but I don't know. We can start off. You want to start? Or?
Yeah, Clemson and South Carolina. So Clemson hosted a regional last year. I don't think South Carolina did, but I think they were very close. They
were
didn't,
one of the top teams in the country.
They didn't win their region.
No. They didn't.
Okay, I meant they didn't host a super regional because they didn't win.
No.
I think they got knocked out in theirs, but we're going to get to see an early look at Alden Mathis against a top SEC team. And it's a big in-state rivalry as well. So, that will probably be, at that point in the year, probably his first game against, like, a powerhouse, I would think.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I'll pull up the schedule here, but, like, I feel like they kind of early in the season, like,
they usually
don't really schedule good
usually
teams.
Those bigger teams, you kind of start off with a little bit of a lighter, and then this is, like, I think their first big series.
Like, they play Xavier, Kennesaw State, and South Carolina is their third series. So
that's March 1st to the 3rd.
Yeah.
That will
it's going to be still cold down?
Warmer.
Yeah.
They'll probably be on some kind of ESPN as well, I'd imagine.
Oh, yeah. You also got Clemson and Wake Forest. Wake Forest was, the third-place team in the country last year. They got Chase Burns from Tennessee to transfer there. So, I don't know. We'll see. They lost Rhett Lauder, though.
Yeah, that'll be lost a first-round pitcher, probably replaced it with a first-round pitcher. And that's like May 10th through 12th, which is the end of the season.
That'll be right before the ACC tournament.
Yeah, so that's going to be like a really big, I would imagine that's going to be a huge conference series between the two of them.
Yeah. Another early March series, Rhode Island's playing Texas A&M. So this will be, getting to see our guys Mike Anderson and Eric Genther against the best of the best. Texas A&M was in the World Series, I believe, 2 years ago, not last year. 2 years ago, they were in it. And, like you wrote on here, the smaller schools going to visit the big teams. I know Penn I think they took the series from Texas A&M last year in 2022, I think, not this most recent year. They went down there and shocked the world. And, like the teams that are going down south, the smaller schools, they got nothing to lose. They're going in there realistically to win one game.
Yeah, that's like those series can get a little chippy sometimes. Like that's you got those teams in there with nothing to lose, and
they'll show you how little they have to lose.
Like, so sometimes they get blown out. Sometimes there's like legit drama, and when there's drama, it's fun.
All right, we got an all-Atlantic 10 matchup here. We got St. Joe's at Rhode Island. This is going to be the most Delco D1 players on the field at the same time.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
without a doubt.
We'll have, what, 8?
I mean, on rosters, yes. In terms of on the field, who knows? But I mean,
depending on the time.
like Don Picone's going to pitch if he's healthy. Luke Zimmerman will probably pitch if he's healthy. You know, Eric and Mike will be starting for Rhode Island if they're healthy. So it's a shame that one's not in Philly.
Yeah, that would have been a really good one to go out and see.
Let's get St. Joe's to host the A10 tournament.
Yeah, that
would
could be
nice.
I think they have like a location they go to.
Do they?
I think so. I think a lot of the D1 conferences
I don't
have
know,
a location.
Yeah, no, you're right. D1, they probably would.
Yeah, maybe it's a Rhode Island road trip. There's not really anything up there. But
We stop in Connecticut for pizza.
Yeah. Wait, yeah, no, you have to.
It's north.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
It's good enough. Yeah, we're not the smartest guys in the world. We got a Big East matchup. We got Villanova taking on UConn. That'll be Luke and Jack going to a perennial best team in the Big East, and hopefully trying to do some damage there. But obviously, like Nova hasn't exactly lived up to their standards over the past couple of years. So I would just like to see our guys healthy and playing
100%.
well.
That's Nova's baseball is a little bit of a far cry from the basketball.
It's the only D1 Delco baseball school.
Yeah,
I support them.
We got a couple guys, so we're rooting for them. I think UConn's a team that competes for, again, like regionals, super regionals. So I think that's kind of one of the better. I don't know. I think that's their one chance to kind of go out and shock the world.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think they will.
Yeah, they also play St. Joe's in the Philly matchup, April 30th and May 14th. Obviously, it's not conference, so it doesn't matter for anything more than Philadelphia bragging rights. But we got to get into the PSAC here because we've talked about how it's one of the best Division II conferences in the nation, really for all sports, but baseball specifically. And we got Westchester versus Kutztown. That's an early conference series in early March.
So that's their first one, March 8th and 9th. That's the first conference series for both teams.
In Westchester.
Yeah, so
that's good.
Saturday, that was saying, for anyone that's looking to make a day of it, Saturday in Westchester. Saturday afternoon.
We'll make a
baseball.
tent. We'll make a tent. Some merchandise and hot dogs
there we
or something.
We'll do that. Yeah, we'll be there.
But the real series that I'm looking forward to is Westchester and Millersville because last year they met in regionals, so that meant that they played probably. How many times? The regular season, probably the PSAC tournament, and then the regional.
Yeah, that's going to be the big one.
For teams that already hate each other, that's only going to make it worse.
And with that being the last series, a conference series of the year, there's a legit chance that that's for the PSAC East Championship and that one seed, that bye.
Do you host a tournament in that one?
No, they used to go out to Johnstown. I don't know what they do now, but I'm pretty sure they still go out there.
All right, we're dropping down to Division III. We got Widener versus Shenandoah, and the main reason this is on here is because they play February 10th in Virginia. Why are they playing that early, bro? It's going to be so cold.
You know what? We don't need to ask why they are. There's probably the first real Delco baseball game we're going to see all year. So
I don't even know when this episode is going to be out. It might not even be out until after this game.
I think we got to get it out before this.
Yeah, but that's also the only game in February.
Yeah, no, it's February 10th is early, but you know what? I love it, man.
It's
play
great.
in January.
They must have turf. They have to.
No, they don't.
Really?
Does not have turf. They're just grass.
Tarp, maybe. All right, D3 guy. Let's add some more here.
All right, so April 13th, we have Dickinson versus Hopkins, home doubleheader. So it's at Dickinson. This will be Isaiah Winokur, one of the best teams in the country. At that point, probably still. They're going to get the face-off against
Cole and Grayson, most likely. Yeah,
a little Delco trio there.
I like that. They also take on Ursinus on April 20th, another game with a lot of Delco talent. You said doubleheader at Ursinus, which is good because for our pitchers, we don't want these games at Hopkins Field.
No, we got to. Oh, well, so that one's Dickinson and Ursinus, so they wouldn't be playing it.
Oh, yeah, anyway. That's true. Ursinus is a pretty big field.
Yeah.
First career home run, not a big deal, was at Ursinus. Well, first college home run.
Was the field that
I should
big
say.
then,
No. It's furthest ball I'll ever hit. I stand by that. All right, we got Johns Hopkins taking on Baldwin Wallace February 24th. That'll be a rare February game in Northeast along with the Widener and Shenandoah game. Preseason number 1 versus preseason number 3. With, as you mentioned, a couple Delco guys on both sides.
Yeah, and I think for both teams, this is going to be their second game of the year. So in terms of early season matchups, across any division, it really does. You don't see number 1 and number 3 square off in the second game of the year in any level. So this is huge.
You can't sleepwalk through the beginning of your
not.
season here. Yeah, no, you're not going to be, playing a bunch of crappy teams to like ease your way into it. Like you're getting right after it.
And that's one of the cool things about D3 is the way the bids work. If you're one of these teams playing in the better conferences like Hopkins and the Centennial or Baldwin Wallace, I forget what their conference is, but there's a lot of legit teams out there. You need to be scheduling very strong out of conference, and you need to be winning out of conference to have a chance, if you don't win your conference, to get an at-large bid.
Yeah, because there's so many bids that are taken by conference winners that you need to have their resume looking good.
There's so many conferences that you have, instead of a few conference winners and then like 30 more bids as you have in like a D1, you have a couple.
We got some good Catholic series here. Catholic takes on Hopkins on March 27th. Catholic takes on Elizabethtown March 19th, April 2nd, and April 16th. That's kind of weird. It's spread out 3 games like that.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about with the new conference schedules. It's a new one. I think it's going to be a new challenge because they're all weekday games. So we talked about having your conference starters. Now you got to think a little bit about like how you want to work your pitching. Like, do you need a guy? Because Catholic and Elizabethtown are probably going to be 2 of the best teams in the Landmark Conference. Now you got to think about like, do you want to save a guy for that game? Or are you going to throw a midweek starter? But that's going to be a really interesting seeing how that plays out over the year.
Do you think that they're going to miss just like having a series, like playing a team like 3 straight games? Like, I don't know. I kind of like playing series.
Yeah, no. The series are great.
Weird.
I think it's like, for it being a new thing, I think it'll be kind of cool. But I would prefer a series over it getting split up.
I just feel like it's the best way to tell who's the best team. Like, in a hypothetical scenario, Catholic could throw the same guy all 3 games, right? And that just doesn't feel like, like Catholic could throw the same pitcher on March 19th, April 2nd, and April 16th, right? Like, it just, I don't know. It doesn't have the same feel to it. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really good test of depth, I think. Just because you are coming off of, and either I don't know what days exactly these are. I know the dates, but you're either going to be coming off or going into another conference series. So you're going to need to have guys fresh.
This could potentially be the final games in Cabrini baseball history, depending on how their season goes in terms of playoffs. But they take on Immaculata. There will be 2 different games, May 3rd at Cabrini, May 4th at Immaculata. And, if it is the final games for the program, I feel like it would be fitting to be against Immaculata, just because that's always been the rivalry there. I hope they make the playoffs. I hope we can get as many Delco guys in there.
I think like that final conference series being against them is real. Because having kind of like known guys on both teams, like that's a pretty big rivalry, and it's going to be a really fun series. Another potential one to go to.
All right, we got some JUCO matchups to end it up. We got Rowan College of South Jersey, Cumberland. They're taking on their rivals, Gloucester, who is the defending national champs. Now, I don't believe Gloucester has any Delco guys, but RCSJ Cumberland does.
Yep, RCSJ Cumberland has at least a couple. Half their team doesn't have places of birth
on the roster. Yeah, I try to look it up. I know Jimmy DeCarlo is there. I think Gavin Severa, the Ridley guy, is still there. I'm sure there's more that we don't know about, but it's the Battle of South Jersey, I guess.
It's a big one.
Yeah, they'll also take on Camden County on May 3rd and May 4th. You put a note here. There probably are Delco guys on there, but we don't know because they don't have a roster.
Yep, another one of the JUCOs. Please just get a roster out.
Your players would appreciate it.
There's people that want to talk about your players and can't because we don't know who's on the team right now.
Yeah, Penn State on Penn State. Penn State Brandywine will take on Penn State Berks March 27th, and that will be a look. Brandywine will get a look at a future conference opponent. The game won't have as much stakes this year, but they'll kind of get to see where they stack up.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be for Brandywine probably the biggest test of how is this going to go next year. I think seeing the Penn State Berks team that's going to be in their conference that typically does well in their conference, that's going to be a good test for them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, we are looking forward to a great year of college baseball. Obviously on this program, high school really takes precedent just because that's more of our audience. It's more people care about the communities, and there's so many alumni that stay invested, And there's so many reasons that high school has really been the main focus for us. But, as we continue to build the staff up, we would like to be able to get out to more college games. But, right now we're writing articles every weeknight for high school, and sometimes you got to just like decompress a little. But I'm sure we'll make it out to some of these, take a couple trips, 100%. Catch up with our guys. And I don't know, who do you think is most likely to get their World Series appearance?
So, I mean, obviously, I think the easy one's the club guys.
Yeah.
But if we take that out, and leave it as like, so the club guys are even Lackawanna again with Vinny. If we take that out and go like NCAA, I'd have to go. I think still probably Isaiah or Max.
Yeah.
In the D3.
I think I'd go Westchester.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's a good
Westchester,
one, too.
it's whoever is better between Westchester and Millersville.
Yeah,
always seems
that
to
is
find their
kind
way.
of, you got out of that region, you're gonna have probably one of those guys that you're gonna have to beat. And
I'll put this on the record right now. If Clemson goes to the College World Series, we will be there.
Absolutely.
No matter
Yeah,
what.
yep,
No matter what. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Delco Baseball Now. Make sure to follow us on all socials, just at Delco Baseball. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and like this video. Shout out producer Rob for taking care of us as always. Looking forward to a great season. We'll have updates throughout the way, and we will see you next time.